Hi and welcome to our show. We have Namu Kini here, and Namu of course has had her own very successful show called Conversations with Namu Kini. So now you're on the other side, Namu.
Thank you so much.
It's so good to have her here with us. Namu is a multifaceted young woman, and I think she has a very, very interesting background. She has gone through a very interesting journey. Has started Kini, which worked with up-and-coming artists in India. Today she has a phenomenal store called HappyHealthyMe, and which is the first store is in Bangalore in Indiranagar, and we hope that she has stores all over India, and I think she's going to be going online very soon. Namu, before I give away too much about you, I'm going to say welcome. Great to have you here, and I think we have some very interesting things to look forward to.
Thank you, Latika. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Namu. We're very excited to have you. And I'm going to start off by asking a question, a personal question, which is, do you think that you are successful? And if you do, why? And what is your definition of success?
I've reached a point where I do give myself a pat on my back. A couple of years ago, I didn't do that. And then suddenly I said, hey, I did this, I got this done, So I would consider myself successful. And let me tell you about my definition. And it's not just about a car or money or marriage. And it's about the full circle. And it's called the balance wheel of life. And I don't know if any of you have looked it up. It's when you feel fulfilled in all spheres of life. And I would say in the past 5 years, I've been really working on the areas that I've been weak at. And so...
And what areas were those?
Health. I had 2 babies, and I had to focus on myself, getting fit and strong again. I would say that, yeah.
So now that we have discussed success, and of course you are successful, of course you've achieved a lot, I think that it would be interesting to know what were some of the challenging situations that you have been in, and how have you worked through them to be where you are today?
Latika, in 2001, I had a huge life-changing moment that I went through. No regular person thinks that it would happen to you, but it happened to me. I was in New York on September 11th, and I witnessed the entire plane crash. I had a meeting on the 99th floor of World Trade Center, the One, and the plane actually crashed into my offices as I was approaching the building. So it was the most unnatural event to experience. I still remember it vividly. It was a bright blue sky, and I was looking up because I must have heard the plane. I saw the plane, it said American Airlines. It was so close by, and I said, now this is an interesting optical illusion because it must be across the river. And then it slowly crunched into this building in slow motion. And I could not believe what was happening, and the building started collapsing around me. And the way that the building, the way that it crashed and where I was, I assumed that it would land where I was standing. And so I was frightened for my life, and all I was thinking is that I'm too young to die. I was just 23 years old, and I said, this is not my last day. And I just dropped everything that I had, and I ran for my life, And there was a sweet homeless person who kind of helped me calm down, and I was really lucky to escape without a scratch. So, of course, the next few months in New York, I was young, I was working. It was tough for all New Yorkers, but we all got through it. But strangely, in a few months, I just emerged a lot more confident and clear in what I wanted out of life, because it was clear that I had a second lease on life. I had a second chance. I tried to make sense out of the whole thing, and some of my friends said, it's karma. And I said, those poor people who died were diligent workers. It wasn't bad karma for them, and I've done nothing good to deserve the second chance. So it really got me thinking, So my biggest learning from that was I had to lead a meaningful life going forward, and whatever I did had to have a positive impact on other people, and that's something that just stuck with me, and it's just been growing, as every year passes.
And what is your definition of a positive impact? What were you imagining when that epiphany occurred?
Impacting other people's lives, bettering them in some way that I see is better, So, in fact, that led to, very soon after that, a few years after, maybe 2 years after September 11th, I moved back to India to start something. We had no business plan, nothing. We were young and we had drive, but what was clear is whatever my next venture is going to be, I have to have a positive impact on someone else. And it led to starting, one of India's top art galleries. And there, it was clear within the first year, I was able to provide financial security to hundreds of artists. Artists who were struggling to make 15,000 rupees a month were making dollar incomes thanks to me. Nice. They were able to buy real estate thanks to my efforts. And I was not doing it as any charity. I was running it as a business, so it was win-win for every party. But that gave me a lot of satisfaction, and that's what I meant.
During that journey, did you ever experience any self-doubt? You have this epiphany and crystallized purpose. Mm-hmm. And then you ran a very successful gallery. In that journey, was there any period of time where you were like, oh my God, what am I doing? How did I do this?
When I started, again, I was about 25 years old and I must have looked 16, That's not the case anymore. But I felt like I had to dress up and look a lot older, so I would dress up in saris. I'm like, people are buying art from me. So I had my first art show, and I showcased this artist called Subra, who every established gallery in India had shut their doors to him because it was an experimental medium. He makes collages out of National Geographic magazines. They're just wonderful, okay? And I thought they were fantastic. None of the other galleries did. So he took a chance on me, I took a chance on him, and we had a hugely successful show. I think we sold out, That was the first show. We made a short film on him. It was a success. I came home like, this is great. And after a few days, I said, you know what? I think we should quit while we're ahead. I think this is a fluke. I should just stop because I don't think I can ever match this. And then my family...
Were you afraid to fail?
Yes.
After?
So I thought now, how can I go down after this? Because I've reached as high as it can get. And so, of course, my family are like, no, let's just... They talked me out of it, and I stuck with it. And of course, things got better and better. But I also faced a lot of criticism from the art market. I started something at a time where all the other gallery owners and curators... Funnily, a lot of them are women. A lot of them are sort of wives of industrialists. So, someone with a mailing list. I had no mailing list. I was half their age. And they all sort of criticized me for, my stance and the way of doing things. And fortunately, I don't care about what other people say. And that's...
So that didn't impact you at all?
No. So I didn't care. And we just kept doing things our own way.
And what about you or your upbringing or your mindset allowed you not to care? Because I think it's hard, at least for me, it's hard not to care when people you potentially respect or your peer group are criticizing you.
And actually, more importantly, you're in a city like Bangalore where everyone knows everyone, especially in the art community.
These are great points. Well, for one, I know that, my father's always been an entrepreneur. So he's this risk taker, and I grew up with that. So it rubbed off on me. And I'm okay taking risks.
Yeah.
Must be some of that Konkani blood also, right?
As conks.
Amazing skin.
I think many of us Konkanis, it is genetically in us to basically not really give a damn, right?
Is it? Like,
kind
what
of
is the-
instigates
I'm,
us
I'm
to.
trying to find the answer.
And the more the more people talk about us, you're like, whatever, right?
I really don't give a damn. And
right.
you know, and see, if I was in this sort of insecure period of my life, then I would give a damn. But I was slowly taking one step forward, okay? I'm like my first Subra show, that was maybe 10 steps. And then I did a Basaki show, and that was 50 steps. And then people were taking me seriously. And then I had like serious art collectors who were trusting my curation. So I'm like, I don't give a damn what anybody thinks.
So if I
you
can
know?
observe, because I'm
Yeah.
now listening to you, perhaps your mini successes allowed you to say, I don't care.
They feed your confidence
Right? Like
and
it
your
allowed
self-esteem.
you to do that.
Or was it probably because of the fact, I think at a very young age, at 23, to watch be there at 9/11 and watch, the plane get into the building collapsing, that must have been completely life-changing. I mean, just listening to you, I have goosebumps. I think Sejal and I, my husband was supposed to have been in the building. I remember 9/11, minute by minute, because I was in Colorado, Sid was in New York. She was supposed to have been in the building. I think those were also, she was in the building. So I think there were all these life-changing events. And for you were 23. And after that, you're like, you know what, if I've seen someone ram a plane into a building, I don't care about anything else. So could that really be the reason why also, between your upbringing and what you went through, bring that level of self-confidence in you?
I would agree. Like I said, things became black and white. I was filled with self-doubt growing up. I was never as smart as my older sister. I always thought, maybe some of these are your own stupid assumptions that you're just not good enough. And
So you had a period of time where that was the case.
I grew up, it was 0 to 21, I was that person.
Okay.
I was always questioning myself. I'm not good enough for that promotion. I'm not good enough to be on top of the class.
You just thought it just happened by fluke, right? You didn't deserve to be where you are.
I really had self-esteem issues. I know I tell my friends now because all of our, we talk about our issues and they can't believe it, but I really did. I really had a battle with self-esteem growing up.
So if you had sitting here as 30-something?
38.
30-something? 38.
Yes.
We should be proud of our ages.
Yeah.
I'm not 38, I'm older than that. But as 38-year-old Namu, if you were sitting next to 15-year-old Namu, what would you tell her?
I would not say a thing because you just have to go through that journey yourself and you have to fall and you have to make your mistake, you have to cry. I'm so grateful for my journey. I left home I had just turned 17 and I went to the US. I didn't know anything and I had to learn everything. I'm so grateful to my parents for letting me learn things myself and putting me out there in the world. You just have to make your own mistakes.
Yeah.
And that's why I try not to feed my kids too much information, You have to figure things out yourself. And then it takes you to the next level. Yeah.
So as part of your journey, you've also spent a lot of time on fitness. And I'd like to know a little bit more, and it's not just going to the gym twice a week. You've run the New York Marathon.
She lost 30 kgs.
She's lost 30 kgs, done the half Ironman. It would be interesting to figure, were you always athletic? Why did you, want to run the marathon, so early? Was it something, what
so,
really
the things that I
going?
do now and the situations that I put myself in, there was never any bucket list. I didn't know that I wanted to do these things, so it's really interesting where life has been taking me, It all started with, now this was post September 11th where I had this newfound confidence or at least willingness to put myself out there and try new things. I decided to sign up for the New York Marathon. And now my friends, now that I've done so much in terms of fitness in my life, they say, you must have always been an athlete. So once again, the answer was no. I was always on the stage. I was in plays and those, cultural events and music. But again, silly assumption on my part, I thought I didn't belong on the sports field. And I don't know why. I said, why did I think that you can be this or that? I can't point my finger at anyone else, okay? I decided that I don't belong there. I never tried anything because I thought I'm going to fail. But I was 22, I decided to sign up for the New York Marathon. And since then, it's always been these big goals. I don't know about, now there are 5Ks and 10Ks, but I guess my first goal has always was so large. But, it took me 6 months. Now, I was newly married. I lived in New York. We had a great social life. We used to party a lot. We would go out drinking on Saturday nights, and we would wake up at like 1 p.m. on Sunday mornings and go out and eat. But for 6 months, and those were the last 6 months before moving back to India, I gave up all of that, all of my socializing, just to train for this marathon. It's talking giving up alcohol, eating healthy, and giving up your Saturday nights to wake up 6 a.m. and heading to Central Park on Sunday mornings and running. And I had never run before in my life, So, but what was great, it also taught me about teamwork. And since I was never part of any sports team, I had not experienced this before. So I trained with a team, and we also raised money for a charity in India. But the first group run, we all showed up in our sweatpants, all awkward, all showed up with excuses. I've never done this, I haven't done this, I'm worse. And we couldn't even run a mile, and we huffed and puffed. We just, so I have this line I keep saying, you just have to wake up, lace up, and show up.
Yeah, I love that. Wake up, lace up, and show up.
You've done that, sister. You've done the New York Marathon too.
I have.
I think I realize, when you're talking about what advice would you give 15-year-old Namu, 15-year-old LP, what I would tell her is, why were you so active in school? I was on the school basketball team, I was on the school, running team, I was on the debate team, and now look at me right now. I want to DJ.
Yeah,
that's what I want to do.
We all want to grow up and be you.
100%. It's my aspiration.
So I think it's just fabulous, especially I think the message really is that, again, turn that switch on. You wanted to go in and run a marathon, you ran a marathon, right? You wanted to run a marathon, you did that. You put on 30 kilos, you lost the 30 kilos. So I think we have all these myths that you could, only if you're athletic, you can do a marathon. Only if you are smart, you can, you're going to succeed. It's just, you have to have the desire. You want to succeed, you want to make a difference, and that is really the primary, I would say, driving fact.
It's a mindset shift.
It's a mindset, right?
Shift.
Yeah, and actually there's a little more than that that I want to talk about. It's about structure, right? You have to create some sort of a structured training plan.
And routine.
Yeah. So you don't just put it out there, I'm going to run the New York Marathon. There has to be, you need training. I had a coach. I had moral support. I had a team. We were all there in it together. We were all encouraging each other. I had a commitment. I told everybody I knew that I was doing this. I put it out there in the universe. I started raising money, so people were putting money. I raised $5,000.
So you made it structural, almost structural incentive. Right, so it wasn't just psychological, you had structural incentive.
And she owed it to people because she has raised money to do it, right?
Absolutely.
So the minute you do that, you realize it's not just your own personal goal, but you have made a commitment to others and your team.
And then, it's suddenly after 6 weeks, we're huffing and puffing, we're walking, we're trying to jog, it's all, it's not looking good. And then suddenly there's this moment where you can run 5 miles.
Yeah. It's amazing, isn't it?
I'm like, did I just do that?
Yeah, it's amazing.
You can just suddenly run 5 miles, and then you can run 7 miles. Yeah. And then I would run 10 miles, and I would come home, and I would cook myself. I would cook rice and sambar, and I would run down the East River after a full day's work.
So take
it
me
made
to
me
that
feel
first Sunday in November when you ran. Take me to the finish line. What were you feeling? You crossed the finish line in Central Park.
I said, I'm never going to do this again. I'm like, you stupid person. Why did you sign up for this? Okay? To be honest, I have to tell you, I was there because it was really hard. Oh my God, it was so difficult. And I was so inexperienced. I was wearing these shorts, and it was a cold November day. And I stopped, and I'm like, I'm freezing, and I have no clothes. And it was so fantastic. And then I mean, my
Kicks
husband was
in,
with me,
yeah.
my mother-in-law, and we had a great, a cheerleading team.
So, we're now going to go to our favorite part, which is the rapid fire questions.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask a bunch, and then Ms. Pai will ask a bunch. So let's start. What is your idea of perfect happiness?
Accepting imperfection. I'm getting there.
What is your greatest fear?
I guess not being successful.
What is the trait you most deplore in yourself?
Wow. That she's still pondering. You should be like me who says I love everything about myself.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is that a company thing also?
It's a complete.
You just love. I don't deplore anything about myself. I'm sorry, it's rapid fire.
No,
but I'm working on myself. That's why.
What is a trait you deplore in others?
Gossip.
What living person do you most admire?
I can't answer that question. I learn so much from just conversation like every single conversation. No, there isn't just one person. But I learn from every conversation.
So I'll have to add one more question
Okay.
then. What is your greatest extravagance?
I get a massage every week.
Very nice.
Nice, nice. So, what are the 3 things on your bucket list?
I would love to do a full Ironman. I would love to have my own talk show with like millions of viewers. I want to make a big impact for women in India, like a big impact. I want to help change that. Yeah.
So, if I was asked what was on my bucket list, I'd say I wish I can be a pole dancer. I'm like, really? That's what I'm thinking, sister. But I'm looking at, okay, what kind of exercise? I need to stop eating, no drinking. Yeah, so all right, great. What countries would you like to travel to and why?
Well, right now I love cycling in Europe. It's just so beautiful. I love Sri Lanka. I recently went to Bali. Any
places that you really feel, I really want to go to this particular country.
Oh, you know what? I want to explore India. We're always trying to plan our holidays outside of this country, and I've just been trying to focus on discovering India. And I have this place where I feel like I'm going to retire there, but I've never been. It's Uttarakhand.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I belong there. Yes. I have this longing.
And you've never been?
I've never been, but I want to own a home there.
Binsar in Uttarakhand is a very beautiful place. I've spent a lot of time traveling around India, and I completely agree with you. India is a phenomenal country. Every state has jewels, and I think most people are more interested in going and looking at some of the ruins in Europe. When you have Hampi here, which is just 8 hours away, which is stunning, right? Finally, how would you describe your life in one sentence?
Oh, in one sentence, I was looking for one word.
You could use one word. Yeah.
It's full.
Wonderful.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. This was fun.
This was fun, and we're so happy that you could make it. I know it was just literally 24 hours, and you're here, and so that's great.
And I was expecting a podcast.
That's right.
What is this?
What is
this that we're doing?
This is a podio.
Audio,
video, and a
podcast.
podcast. Yeah.
Audio.
That's right. TM.
Yeah, TM.
Thank
Her
you.
lawyers are on it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.
Great.
That was fun.
Yeah, you guys are great.
This is how we do.